Hey everyone, Decent Eddie here. It's Sunday, August 31st, 2025. The NFL regular season kickoff is only a few days away. I have some week one numbers plugged in. Now, there's going to be some adjustments closer to the first kickoff, but they'll be small. I guess the big question is, how am I able to do any of this without any 25 data to start with? I get it. Well, friends, week one is always the most stressful because the only data that you have to work with is a little bit of preseason stuff, which means almost nothing. You have some last year situational data, which means a little more than nothing, and data on rookies from games that don't overlap with NFL game data. But I have it, such as it is. Here's the Decent Eddie top 10 going into week one as of today. All right, starting from the bottom of the list, coming in at number 10 with an Eddie score of 10.455 are the LA Chargers. The Chargers made the playoffs in Jim Harbaugh's first year at the helm, and now in year two, the expectations are pretty high. Chargers have that great offensive line and an emphasis on the running game. You've got Justin Herbert, poised for a big season, but there's an asterisk kind of on that. We'll get to that in a second. He'll be joined by 2,000-yard rusher Najee Harris and last year's star rookie receiver Ladd McConkey. The defense, led by a couple great vets, was an outstanding unit last year and will be a major factor again this year. However, the big question mark for this team right now is, they lost all-pro left tackle Rashawn Slater for the season, right? That's devastating. It puts pressure on a retooled offensive line. While they have the talent to make a deep playoff run, the Chargers have struggled in the postseason going 0-2. It's kind of a win-now culture, my guess is, in that Chargers locker room. But they'll have to overcome some serious adversity to finally get over the hump. Ninth on my list with an Eddie score of 10.182, we've got the Broncos. After a surprisingly successful 10-win season and a playoff berth, expectations for Sean Payton's squad are higher than an Estes Park Mountain Goat. A big reason for that is the defense. They were a top 3 unit in points allowed last year and led the league with 65 sacks. They could be even better this year with the additions to that unit. On offense, you got Bo Nix. He's expected to take another leap. He'll be protected by a pretty good offensive line that returns all 5 starters, and he'll have good weapons at tight end and running back. The biggest what if for Denver is whether Nix can elevate a receiving core that, while pretty good, isn't really a strength of the team. If he can, this team could be a legitimate challenger to the Chiefs for the AFC West title. Eighth on my list with an Eddie score of 9.636 are the LA Rams. They are kind of built for Super Bowl contention, returning most of their key players after a late season surge in 2024 that saw them go 6-2 to win the NFC West and make a run to the divisional round. A major reason for their success is their defense, especially young and explosive defensive line that tallied 16 sacks in just 2 playoff games. On offense, they are looking to get a jump start with one of the league's most formidable receiving duos. The entire unit is led by Matthew Stafford, who has all the ingredients to lead a strong attack, but the biggest question mark here for the Rams is the durability of the 39-year-old Stafford. But if Stafford can stay healthy, the Rams have a legitimate shot at an NFC title. Seventh on my list with a decent Eddie score of 7.636 are the Green Bay Packers. After 2 straight playoff berths with the NFL's youngest roster, Green Bay's expectations are pretty dang high, and with good reason now. Their defense, which ranked top 5 in scoring and total defense last season, is now a legitimate super elite unit and contender for a Super Bowl appearance after the blockbuster trade for all-pro pass rusher Micah Parsons. Who knew that was going to happen? On offense, the team believes quarterback Jordan Love will take the next step. Love is supported by a strong running game, a deep receiving core, rookie first-round pick Matthew Golden, who was a standout during training camp. The thing you have to think about here is the health of their defensive secondary, along with whether Love can return to his late 2023 form, because his development was kind of stagnant in 24. In my opinion. The numbers don't lie. If he can, this could be the biggest challenge to the defending champion Eagles in the NFC. Sixth on my list with an Eddie score of 6.545 are the Washington Commanders, and after a shocking season that culminated in an NFC Championship appearance, expectations for the Commanders are pretty high. Rookie of the Year Jaden Daniels was a true difference maker, setting a rookie quarterback rushing record of 891 yards, and leading an offense that ranked top 5 in total points and rushing yards. The front office has gone all in to help him by acquiring some outstanding trades. On defense, the Commanders are hoping a rebuilt unit anchored by veterans will overcome last year's struggles where they rank near the bottom in run defense. You got to fix that. The thing to keep an eye on is the depth at wide receiver beyond their top 2 stars. If their new pieces can gel quickly and their defense can hold up, the Commanders have many of the pieces to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender they're a contender. Anyway, fifth on my list with an Eddie score of 5.364 are the Detroit Lions after a franchise record 15-win season and their second straight NFC North title. The Lions are coming into 2025 with expectations for a Super Bowl run. Their offense is a powerhouse with an abundance of weapons at all the important skill positions. They almost want for nothing on the scoring end of the deal. On defense, Aiden Hutchinson, who was sidelined with a broken leg last season, is back and at full strength to lead the pass rush. However, there are some question marks for the Lions due to their depth at both defensive and offensive lines. Could be something, could be nothing. We'll have to see. The biggest hurdle, though, might be a lack of coaching continuity after losing both their offense and defense coordinators to head coaching jobs this offseason. If they can overcome these personnel and coaching changes, and they might have already, the Lions have the talent to go all the way. Fourth on my list with an Eddie score of 4.182, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. After their Super Bowl loss to the Eagles, the Chiefs probably have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. The offense, which has struggled to find consistency the past 2 seasons, has been a major focus of the offseason. Patrick Mahomes is determined to have a statistical rebound, and he'll be supported by a rebuilt offensive line and a deep receiving core. On defense, the Chiefs are still a top 5 unit with outstanding players anchoring the front. However, on the offense side, you kind of have to wonder about the run defense and their ability to stop the pass rush. That showed some cracks late last season and was exposed in the Super Bowl in a huge way. Another concern is the performance of tight end Travis Kelce, which he has slimmed down and looks trimmed up for the season. He had kind of a bit of a glow up, Scouts noted a physical decline in his gameplay last year. If the run defense can improve and pass protection are beefed up and Kelce can bounce back, that's an awful lot of ifs. I don't like the ifs. The Chiefs are a championship level team. Third on my list with an Eddie score of 3.455 are the Buffalo Bills. After a season that saw quarterback Josh Allen win his first MVP, the Bills are once again one of the top Super Bowl favorites. The offense returns nearly intact and is poised to be a standout unit with a strong running game led by James Cook and a receiving core that is a year wiser and has the addition of free agent Joshua Palmer to provide greater vertical threats. However, a concern for the Bills may be their defense. Despite a new defensive coordinator and some key additions, the unit has struggled with consistency. They've got several maybes in the secondary. I don't like maybes any more than I like ifs, which has been hampered by injuries to key players. Adding to their challenges, you got 2 key defensive linemen that are suspended to start the season. It's not really a great way to start. The Bills have proven they can win the AFC East, but to get past the Chiefs, they must find a way for their defense to play at a championship level. Dropping in at number 2 are the Baltimore Ravens. You could argue they're the most complete team in the AFC. Could have made that same argument last year too. But even then, they lost to teams they probably shouldn't have. They've got Lamar Jackson, who had another great season in 2024 with over 4,000 yards passing and 41 touchdowns. I mean, he's the most dynamic quarterback in the league, honestly. Let's say it. I mean, that's just the truth. And the Ravens have Derrick Henry in the backfield, who's playing at a high level. Baltimore's defense is stacked, especially in the secondary. They've got a defense that could make this one of the scariest pass squads in football. Can the Ravens get over the hump? They've been plagued by close losses, late game turnovers, self-sabotaging penalties that have cost them in the playoffs. I already said this in an earlier video. They sometimes look like they would play down to the competition at times. And if you're going to be a real contender, you can't do that, all right? They face a brutal early schedule. While their talent is undeniable, the margin for error here is razor thin. And number 1 on my list, and frankly the highest graded team on my metrics, is the Philadelphia Eagles with a 1.273. The defending Super Bowl champs are built to repeat. They were dominant last year. They look it again this year. On offense, the combination of Hurts and Barkley is lethal. Hurts, who ended last season with a phenomenal 92.3 PFF grade over the final 2 games, is a premier dual threat. Barkley is coming off a monster year where he had set the single-season rushing record and finished with over 2,500 total yards. He's also the league's top fourth-quarter closer, which is a big deal when games are on the line. The defense is the real backbone of the team. They were the highest-graded unit in the entire NFL last year in every major category: run defense, pass rush, coverage. I mean, no one was safe. Don't be surprised if this team is playing for a championship once again. And that's it, friends. Now, for some of these grades, I mean, they're going to change as things get added, things get removed. It's whatever. Week 1, it just sucks. But like I said, it's going to be unsteady. We're going to get more data as we go. Week 2, week 3, we're going to be we're going to be right in there. I feel pretty good about what we've got here, for what it is. If you agree, don't agree, you want to make an argument for the Browns or Saints being in the top 10, you're welcome to do it. Let's hear it in the comments. We'll talk more as we get closer to kickoff. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Football's awesome. This is D. Snetti signing off. Have an awesome day.